All right. Well, shocking nobody is we're doing a Stanley Cup Finals preview, and we're not talking about the Panthers. Ugh. Unfortunately, we're not talking about the Islanders either. So you're gonna catch Stu and I both in a mood. Stu, thanks for doing this the morning after the disaster that was. It was so close but so far away. And now we're going to talk about a few things, and then we're going to have to, I guess, unfortunately, talk about the Lightning as well as Montreal in the finals. So, how you doing this morning, bud?
Um, you know, Took a couple of hours to get over my being bummed out because obviously I in the last preview I was really thinking the Islanders had all the tools and they had a hot goalie and they just disappointed. So I was bummed, I was rooting for them but that's hockey. They didn't bring it.
No, they brought 95% of it, and that last 5%. It's always hard to see. Like you could tell with Montreal and Vegas, Montreal just shut them down, and Vegas just turtled like they've done so many times. But with this series, with the Islanders and Tampa Bay, the last couple of games, especially Game 7, basically Tampa out Islandered the Islanders.
Yep.
They didn't do anything other than just wait. They waited for the one mistake. They paid. They made the Islanders pay, and that was it. They rest. Vasilevsky took it the rest of the way, and the Islanders kind of made it easy as well too. How many shots did they finish the game with?
I don't even know, but I do remember we talked about it before the game. We were texting, at the beginning of the game. What did I say? They got to come out banging bodies. And who banged the bodies? Tampa.
Yep. Yeah. They Tampa played like they wanted it more, which was a little bit odd. I really thought that Tampa had kind of blown it with that 2-0 lead, and then they blew it in New York, and New York wins in overtime. And I kind of felt like momentum inside of a playoff series is easy to grasp but hard to get back. And I thought for a moment that maybe Tampa had kind of choked that away. But Vasilevsky, I think somebody mentioned all of the elimination games this year, he's pitched a shutout.
Well, they're still undefeated after a loss, but after the two games, like you said, the comeback, and then the fifth game, I really thought all they had to do was come out with the same ferocity.
Yeah.
Bringing body, smothering.
Yep.
And finding a way to get past Vasilevsky, because if even on the power play last night, where were the shots? I mean,
right.
It was pitiful. They only had, at some point, it was like 28-10.
Yeah. It was. I mean, I know they got shots there towards the end of the game, but yeah, you're looking at the third period, and they had like 12 shots at that point.
It was throwing it around the board, throwing it to make a play in the cycle instead of throwing it on net.
Right. And to Tampa's credit, though, the one thing that they did do was, I mean, every time the Islanders were making a pass in between each other, there was a Tampa Bay player heading right for that guy. I mean, they were just tenacious, like you said. And they played like the Islanders, like you expected the Islanders to play, but it was Tampa. And I've talked about that, where they can beat you two ways. They can run and gun and score with you, and if they want to close you down and rest on Vasilevsky, it's a good team they got. It's just they can beat you two different ways.
Yeah, one thing I noticed about Tampa, their passes are stick to stick.
Yeah.
They don't miss too many passes. They're real crisp, especially coming out of the zone.
Yeah.
And in the zone, it's quick.
Right. Yeah, no, they got the Panthers with several quick passes like that, and I don't know, man. It was a shame. That was the one series. With Vegas and Montreal was kind of up in the air for a while, but then obviously Caulfield kind of grew on me. It's hard not to root for that kid, man. In the beginning I was like, oh come on, the media was giving him so much attention, and then the more I saw him play, I was like, all right, now I get it. But with this series, it was hardcore. I didn't want Tampa to play Montreal because nothing's going to make it worse if Montreal's run ends than if it ends at the hands of Tampa. That's just going to make it so much worse. So,
what can you do?
yeah. All right. So this series that we got coming up. Now, I did everything I could. I dug into the stats, which I'm not a big stats guy, but I wanted to see if I could find something, anything that would point me in a direction. And Price and Vasilevsky in their playoff histories are almost like duplicates of each other. It's ridiculous. The save percentage and the goals against are almost a duplicate. And you think of Price's, this guy's been around forever. He's only started 8 more playoff games than Vasilevsky. So even the pool of games is pretty much the same. I tried to look at the depth. Tampa Bay's depth, they've got 5 guys that got over 15 goals.
Wait, back up a little bit.
Okay.
We got to talk about Montreal, Vegas.
Okay, all right. You're gonna back me up. Okay, all right. We're gonna talk about Montreal, Vegas. Stu's got some points he wants to get in there.
I was rooting for the Canadiens because I hate Vegas. I just hate them. They're just, I don't know, arrogant. I don't know. I can't describe it in one word. Obviously, I probably have a little bit of
bias.
Losing Marchessault and Riley and watching them be successful there really kind of burned me. But the Canadiens, I don't think. I know coming off the Toronto series, they had a lot of confidence, and Price was lights out game after game, and Montreal just smothered Vegas. They just. I mean, kind of sort of what happened this night with Tampa. I mean, Montreal, and they're getting better and better. So they're coming. So we can segue into the finals. Montreal is coming in with a lot of confidence.
Right.
A hot goalie, and I told you, when we talked about the 4 goalies, it's going to be a question of who's the hottest goalie. And I put Vasilevsky on Price on even par right now. So it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a heavyweight duel there for sure. Which brings me to the only 2 things I found that stuck out at all in terms of differences. I went into the 2 biggest differences I found was on the penalty. Actually 3: power play, penalty kill, and then 1 other. And that was that the Habs had 29 power play goals. Tampa Bay had 40. And that was without Kucherov. And you could say the Habs, it was without Caulfield, but Kucherov still going to be better than Caulfield at this point. Tampa Bay's PK was 84%. The Habs' PK was 78%. So, and the Habs, that was actually, I know they're on this great run now, but in the regular season, they were a little bit below average. So I think it's going to be extraordinarily important for Montreal to stay out of the box. Now, the thing, and I guess this kind of would have been the same in most of this series, but it's really true this time, and it was pretty much true with the Islanders. If anything happens to Vasilevsky, even a game, forget about it, because McElhinney was terrible, awful. I've never seen a team get so far riding 1 goalie in this era of hockey. I mean, McElhinney was .875. I mean, just like send back to the minors level.
Let's not wish any ill on either one of them, because you know what?
No, I'm not.
We want both teams at their best.
Right.
I want to say, listen, the Panthers, the last 2 games of the year, boy, they really took it to Vasilevsky.
I know.
You don't get 4 and 5 goals off Vasilevsky too often. So
no, I'm not saying I want Vasilevsky. Obviously, I'm just saying that if something happens, they're toast. They're toast. And I'm looking at the lines and I'm looking all up and down and everything, and I want Montreal to win. And in my own polls, I'm picking Montreal to win. And if anybody wants to bet me money, I'll pick Montreal to win. But you know what? I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. But every other part of me is wants Montreal. But my head's looking at the Lambs going, this is going to be, man, Carey Price is going to have to pitch some shutouts because there may be some 1-0 games here, 2-1. I mean, it's going to be knocked down.
Did you ever think that the 7th game against Tampa and the Islanders was going to end 1-0?
When I was last night when I made my request, not a prediction in the recap, I said I thought 2-1. I wanted 2-1 with Cizikas getting an triple overtime winner. I wanted to have triple overtime game. And when it was 1-1.
Yeah, I also thought it was going to overtime, which would have been nice.
Yeah. That was the thing that like you said, it took you a couple of hours. The same with me in the sense that just like how we not in overtime. Usually in an NHL playoff game, somebody's going to find a way to tie that up.
What happened last night, as opposed to the other night, Tampa didn't make the mistakes. They didn't cough up the puck. I mean, that game where Beauvillier scored.
Yeah,
that was a direct. I think it was Coleman. He threw the pass right up the middle, boom, in the net. Yeah. So you didn't see that. You didn't see that from Tampa last night. And again, the Islanders were just anemic. They had their chances.
Yeah.
So,
they couldn't make it happen. All right, so you give me your take on Montreal versus Tampa. What do we got?
Well, obviously it starts with Price. I like the defense. I'm a big Jeff Petrie fan. I don't think he gets enough props. Weber, got to always worry about the cannon, and that goal the other night. Leonard didn't even move.
No, I know.
He was in the net before he blinked.
Yeah.
So he's always a threat. Caulfield, he's gaining more confidence. He did not have it at the beginning of the playoffs.
Right.
But he's rolling. I love Josh Anderson. Pageau's great on the faceoffs. They got a good team. They got a really good team. Yeah. And the thing I like about the Canadiens is they got that smothering forecheck.
Right.
They're on,
which makes me that is a good point. What makes me wonder, and this might be wishful thinking, but Tampa's played a lot of hockey. They played a lot of hockey last year. They played a lot of hockey this year. If to match that smothering, I mean, they just had to play that smothering forecheck style with the Islanders here. Will fatigue at some point end up playing a factor as we get into Game 6, Game 7? Because, both teams are going to be playing that heavy-duty forecheck, that smothering style for the most part, unless you get that random game where, if Montreal has any type of a game where they don't show up even 100% like the Islanders, it's going to be 8-0 again because Tampa can just do that to you. So I feel like, Montreal's going to have to show up hard every game. And if they do, maybe by Game 6, Game 7, Tampa, I mean, we don't know what's wrong with Kucherov.
I don't think so.
No?
As far as fatigue.
Okay.
They're to the cup, man.
Yeah.
They're in the final.
No, I know. But it's hard to repeat for that reason.
You gotta lay it all out there. You gotta suck it up. Imagine, 2 overtimes and these guys find a way to come out and do their thing.
Well, like I said, I said it was maybe a little bit of wishful thinking. I'm searching, man, because I'm searching for. I can find ways to say that Montreal can play with Tampa, but when I'm looking for something to point to say this is how they're going to beat Tampa, I get up against the brick wall because I think it's going to be nothing but comes down to which goaltender is damn near perfect. lucky bounces, dirty goals. I don't see any.
Here's how you beat Tim.
All
Here's how
right.
you beat Tim.
Okay.
First of all, forechecking is going to be key. Banging bodies. Crush these guys every time they touch the puck, every time they go in the corner. Dump and chase.
Yeah.
And when you chase, punish the defenseman. That's how you wear them down. Not necessarily per game. I mean, per series.
Right.
But per game.
Right.
The
Inside.
third period.
Right.
And they made a mention of McDonough and all the shots he blocked. And one of the commentators said, they hurt.
Yeah.
Like after the game, these guys got ice packs on, 5 parts of their body because they're all bruised up from all the slap shots they've taken. Can you imagine McDonough blocking a Shea Weber slap shot at 100 miles an hour in an area that's not protected? That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, no, it hurt.
So again, they got to be that smothering offense. They got to be sharp and not cough up the puck, not make mistakes, not, have a situation where they're blindly. I noticed a lot of things. I think I texted you a couple of times. Look how many blind passes there were, especially behind the net.
Right.
One defenseman would throw it behind the net to the other side, and there was a Tampa guy right there to take it.
Yeah.
So they have to be very cognizant of what they're doing, and hockey IQ is going to come into play here. I got to give props to Josh Richardson, who's done a fantastic job as the, alternate coach.
Right.
Their coach is out with COVID.
Yeah.
I think he's done a fantastic job with the lines and how he's managed the players. But again, it's going to come down to who wants it more. It always is. Who wants it more? How big is your heart? And putting in the effort from the opening whistle.
Yeah.
There's no taking 5 minutes off in these games just to see how things settle in. So whoever dictates the play, and obviously you can have a team that dictates the play, and all of a sudden, like last night with that shorty, I really thought, here's the Islanders' chance. They have a chance to score now. They got the power play.
Yep.
It's nothing. We said how important it was to get out of the first period.
I know. Yeah, it was such a gut punch because we did that. We looked like crap, but we still got out of first period. No score. That's all that matters. You get the power play, and you're thinking, all right. And the next thing you know, you're like, bleh, now you're behind. It was such a gut punch. It really, really was.
Definitely deflated the balloon.
Yep.
So,
But,
good team. I mean, the Panthers did that many times this year. They just, they put it on the side. It's done. Let's move on and let's get it back.
Right. Yeah. So these first two are going to be in Tampa. So, I mean, you can't understate. To me, I look at it, and I'm not going to say you're going to throw games away. But to me, I look at it and I say Montreal needs to win that second game. I mean, obviously, you'd love to win the first game. But to me, I figure you're not going to sweep Tampa at home. If you win game 2, you've got momentum now going into home. And I know that sounds picky, but I'm trying to, I play imaginary, you know what I mean? I mean, sure, if they win game 1, that's great. But I don't know. I just feel like they got to get out. They obviously got to get out of town with a win.
Always when you're playing in the other team's barn. What sucks is they don't have the luxury of a full house. They go back to Montreal, and right now it's a limit of 3,500 people.
Are they going to keep it that way?
Instead of, they mentioned it last night. Like, why don't they open it up?
Right.
A crowd of 20,000. Okay, a crowd of 20,000 is a lot better. A home crowd, I should say.
Yeah.
Than 3,500.
Well, yeah, and they got everybody. I mean, I talked about that in the recap where you got 3,500 inside, masks and social distance, and then right outside you got like 10,000 people right on top of one another with no masks. It's like either there's a concern or there's not. It's like it's let some people, let
Yeah.
8, 10,000 people in if you want to have them every other seat or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know what their rates are there or anything like that. So I don't know if they're struggling more with it than like us here in Maryland. Our rate's like
No,
0.4.
it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. But
But
it is what it is. So, as far as going home, home crowd advantage.
right. Yeah.
I mean, it's always good to be home in your, natural habitat and being with
Right.
the family and whatnot.
Right.
But again, it's the Stanley Cup final, where they're on the road or they're home. You got to just take it one game at a time,
Right.
one period at a time, one shift at a time, and just bring it.
All right.
Bring it.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. I'm going to put you on the spot with a couple of questions, and I'm just making them up.
All right.
So give me your prediction for this series, but I want to know what the who is the why. I want to know who you're picking to win and the one player that at the end we point to, we say that's the reason why.
Montreal. Not sure as far as how many games, probably 6, 7. Carey Price.
Okay, we're very, very close, but I just think Cole Caulfield's gonna be the wild card here, and I know that's putting a lot of pressure. I know it is. I think Vasilevsky and Price are going to be equally ridiculous, and I think, that shot that he had the other night, and the fresh legs. This kid's got fresh legs, man. You could just tell he's got the youth. He's got the fresh. He doesn't know what he doesn't know yet. You know what I mean?
That's what he's got the enthusiasm of a 20-year-old.
Exactly.
That's in his
Right.
It's not even his first year.
Yeah. Yeah. He
So,
played like 10 games or something.
I give a shout out here to Josh Anderson. I think he's the wild card.
Okay.
Really impressed with that.
Yeah. All right.
I don't think it's going to be one guy. I think it's going to be a team effort.
Right. Right.
So,
well, I just know
that's my answer.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, we're both picking Montreal, and we're both rooting for Montreal, so that helps.
Well, I think we're just, we're a little biased. I hate Tampa, so I'm not. I'd probably pick any team that was playing Tampa. I don't want to see them win the cup.
No,
they've got that same arrogance as Vegas had. So
right. Yeah. All right, man.
Next question.
Yeah. Okay. The question I have is a little bit. This is hockey related. But you came on the stream the other day, and we're talking, and I appreciate that because I get a lot of questions about what about this guy, what about this guy, what about this guy, and I try to tell everybody addition by subtraction for the Panthers. If we can do nothing else all year but find a way to get rid of Yandel and just get a halfway decent defenseman in, we've improved the team. Just baby steps.
Right.
Now, no matter what team it is.
And what was my comment about all these people that were throwing names out?
Oh, you told me.
Some guy even said Ovechkin. Crazy talk.
No, we don't have the money, man. Even if we get rid of Yandel and Strawman, that's just money to sign Barkov and everybody else. So, but my question is no matter what team it is right now, the name that's out there is Jack Eichel. And what's your opinion there? I mean, where do you think he's going to land, or do you think what team should look at him, and where do you think he goes?
I think LA might sign him.
Right.
And the reason being, or I should say, that's where I think Eichel might wind up. And that's because it's, the big market. Look at Panarin. He's the king of New York now.
Right.
Eichel's a great young player. Lost in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I know the Flyers were looking at him, but I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking LA. I mean, LA's in the, but LA's in the rebuild as well.
Right.
So I think Eichel's probably going to look to a team that, again, it's all about winning the cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, what's he,
probably
24?
going to look at, yeah, he's probably going to,
Yeah.
he's probably going to look at teams that have a legitimate shot.
Right. Right.
But again, all of these players, they're in the $10 million range. So I think it's more important for us, for the Panthers,
right.
to not go out on a limb and bring, a high paid player. Again, Bob at 10, Ekblad at 8,
Right.
Yandel at 6, 6'5". I mean, just add those,
Yeah, and don't forget Strawman too. I mean, he's and
half your cap. The priorities for the Panthers is signing Barkov and Huberdeau. They're the
right.
core. We talked about that in the last, in the preview that we.
Yeah. And for me,
then
Bennett.
Sign Bennett. I think Bennett's a good addition. And then you got these guys, Forsling, who I love.
Yeah.
Definitely got to sign him.
Yeah.
Unless Seattle takes him, and that's my worry. But if Seattle doesn't take him, and we got to sign him because he's proven himself as a top 4D.
Right.
They'll probably put Weegar and Ekblad back together, but quite frankly, I'd like to see Forsling and Ekblad or Forsling and Weegar. One of the guys has to be the offense. One of the guys, but all of those three guys are all offensive-minded defensemen.
Right.
But I'd really be curious to see Ekblad and Forsling together. And obviously, Ekblad coming back, he's the quarterback of the power play. You know how frustrated I was that they didn't put Forsling in. They kept on.
I know.
I don't understand you. I mean, Yandel's one-dimensional.
Right.
And that back pass, that, teams snuff out that back pass. I mean, I wish they would get rid of that thing.
Yep.
But Forsling should have been quarterbacking the power play after Ekblad went down. I don't know why, but whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's again, you and I both know it's going to be really interesting to see once the draft is done, and free agency comes about, where the Panthers' priorities are and who they're going to sign. They got a lot of players to sign, not enough money. That's the problem.
That's exactly right. That's what I keep telling everybody. It's just addition by subtraction, man. If Zito can find some magical way, even just Yandel or Strawman, one of the two. I prefer Yandel because Strawman proved to be Strawman was serviceable in the playoffs.
Yeah, Yandel's, what is it, $6.5 million?
Yeah, it's
2 more years left. Strawman's got 1 more year left. So that's $10 million.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a miracle if we could dump both of them. But hey, listen, he pulled off getting rid of Matheson and bringing Hornquist in.
Yeah, well, the Pittsburgh guy.
If it comes down to it, I like Hornquist, but he had a great start, and I think he petered out at the end of the year. He really didn't do too much in the playoffs.
Well, I talked with
cry if they didn't sign him or him, whatever.
I talked with the Pittsburgh guy, and a couple things here with Matheson and Hornquist. They're actually pretty happy with Matheson and his defense, and they feel like the thing he needs to improve is his offense, which sounds to me, hold on, which sounds to me like he's been coached to just say, Mike, hear me out here, because this is what it sounds to me. It sounds to me like if you tell Matheson just go offense, that he's going to do that. Right. If you tell him to just do defense, he'll do that. But he doesn't have the hockey IQ to know when to switch between the two. So it sounds like they told him, Mike, just get back. Right.
Yeah, I've heard you say this on the post-game recaps.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I would hate to think that that's what it came down to was coaching him. We know he's got the talent.
Right.
Horrible hockey IQ.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. And the thing with Hornquist, the thing with Hornquist, and again, this comes from the Pittsburgh guy with my thoughts, but his best use is in front of the net causing trouble. Well, that only works if your guys, the rest of your guys, are shoot first mentality. So, because how many times we're sitting there, he's causing trouble in front of the net, and the guys are just passing the puck back and forth, and the shot never gets through. So there's no rebound or deflection for him to get. So it makes it look like he's not doing anything. He's doing what his job is, but we don't have enough shoot first mentality, guys. That's my take on it.
Well, look how many goals he got in front, whether on a rebound or a deflection.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's his job.
And you know what? We really haven't had a player like that. So for that reason alone, I would keep him. But again, got to shoot the puck.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was a big downfall for the Islanders last night. They didn't have enough shots, not enough chances.
Yeah,
it just frustrated me. They were going, point to point, and the point men just kept dumping it in the corner. Maybe because the shooting lanes were cut off. I don't know, but you know what? You just throw it on net. You never know what's going to happen. How many knuckleballs we go by the goalies?
They waited too long. They waited way too long. They needed to play that whole third period the way they did the last 5 minutes, with just complete disregard for anything other than scoring a goal. They waited too long. I think if they would have played the whole third period that way, they maybe sneak one by. They could have got a greasy deflection somewhere, but they didn't do it till 5 minutes left. And then by the time they pulled, I lost my name. Right, yeah. By the time they pulled the goalie, it was too late. It was too late.
Eric, they should have done it after the shorty was scored. They still had power play left.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, they should have came right back, with fire in their belly, saying, okay, we screwed up. Let's move on. Let's tie this game.
Yeah.
So.
And poor Varlamov, man. I mean, that dude, one goal, and you lose game 7. All right.
He had no chance on that goal. It was in the net before he moved.
Yeah. There was nothing he could do. There was nothing he could do.
Perfect one timer.
Not even Spencer Knight stops that shot. Right. All right, bud. Well, I appreciate you coming on and doing this. This was good. I know people enjoy these. I don't know why they like listening to 2 ornery-old men, but that's what they do, right? So
you know what, we kind of do this for ourselves too. I always have fun, we chat during the games.
Yeah,
we drop a lot of F-bombs when things don't go our way, but we're pretty much on the same page as far as what we're looking at as far as analyzing the game.
Yep.
And I enjoy doing these, and I hope everybody that watches them, enjoys them as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. All right, bud. So
we shall see.
We'll
do one after the the series is over.
After Montreal wins, absolutely. I ain't doing one. If Tampa Bay wins, I ain't doing one. I'm not doing that. It's bad enough I'll have to do a recap going, congratulations, Tampa Bay. That's about as much as I think I could deal with. No, we'll do one either way. Don't worry.
The Canadiens haven't won the cup since either 93 or 94.
Yeah.
They're due.
Yep.
They're due.
That sounds about right. Yeah. All right, bud. We'll chat again soon. All right.
All right. Take care.
Take it. Yep. You too. Bye-bye.